So good day to everyone, especially to our professor, Sir Batch Nathan. We are the first group to report one of the greatest ancient Greek epic poem entitled Iliad. Iliad is sometimes referred to Song of Ilion or Ilium. So it was set during the Trojan War. It is a 10-year siege of the city of Troy. It was written by Homer. So before we move on to the story, let us first know the author of Iliad.
So, who is Homer? He is the author of Iliad and Odyssey. Iliad, according to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, is a series of miseries or disastrous events like war. So, Homer is the one who define or what happened. He is the writer or the author of what really happened in the Troy. So later we will discuss what happened in the city of Troy before and after the war. And what is the history itself? So, many people said that Homer is a mystery. Why? Because, according to my research, many scientists and philosophers said that he is the author of two epic poems, which is again the Iliad and Odyssey. The question of how Homer come up with that idea, or they are very curious of what Homer or why Homer come up with that story of Troy.
So now we move on to the characters of the story. First with the Greeks. Achilles. Achilles is one of the greatest warrior in the world 1,000 years ago. He leads the Myrmidons in fighting the Troy. Myrmidon is his group, maximum with 50 people. And the next character is Agamemnon. Agamemnon is the overlord of the Sparta. Agamemnon also leads the Sparta, and I do believe that Agamemnon and Achilles fight for the same side, but they don't get along because Achilles believed that he only fight for himself and for his family and his cousin Patroclus. Next one is Menelaus. Menelaus is the king of Sparta. He is also the husband of Helen, the most beautiful woman in the world before. So next one is Odysseus. Odysseus is noted for his intelligence, and he is also the king of Ithaca. And Patroclus is the cousin of Achilles. Now with the Trojans, first with King Priam. King Priam is the king of Troy during the Iliad, and Hector is one of the greatest warrior in the Troy. He is also the crown king of Troy. And while Hecuba is the queen of Troy, Helen is the most beautiful woman in the world during the ancient time. And while Paris is the one who took Helen to Menelaus, that became a war. And Andromache is Hector's wife. So the setting of the story is first at Troy, which is now Turkey, at the East Asia Minor, while at Mycenae, Greece, which is now at the capital of Laconia, in the east foothills of Taygetus. So the story of Iliad first started in the wedding banquet of the parents of Achilles, named Peleus and Thetis. So when the greatest Greek warriors invited all the gods and goddesses except for Ares, the goddess of discord, but still she insisted to go to the wedding. So when Hera, Aphrodite, and Athena was there, they had this conversation that Ares wants to offer a golden apple. The golden apple has its encryption. It's for the fairies. So once that golden apple was go to the one of the goddess, it will surely be happen. So then these three goddesses, Athena, Hera, and Aphrodite, decide to choose Zeus to be the one to judge. But Zeus wisely declined the offer. Instead, he appointed Paris to be the one to be judged. So, on the judgment of Paris, Hera offered Paris that he will be the one to rule, to be the king of Asia and Europe. So Athena offered Paris to rule over the Trojan victory against the Greece, and that they will ruin the Greece. While Aphrodite offered Paris to have a bride that is the most beautiful woman in the world. So it happens that the golden apple went to Aphrodite. So the issue here is that the most beautiful woman in the world is actually married to the king of Sparta named Menelaus. So Paris decided to leave the Mount Ida and sail and go to the Sparta as a visiting ally. So when he gets to meet Menelaus and Helen, he waits for the opportunity that Menelaus is busy and talk to Helen. So he pursue and ask Helen to go with him at the Troy. That he promised that Helen will get protected and they will do everything to win over the war that will happen. But at first, Helen was scared because she knows that what will happen if he go with Paris. But still, Paris broke this trust of Menelaus and decided to snatch Helen with the help of Aphrodite. So when Menelaus discovered that his most beautiful wife was being abducted by Troy, he unleashed his fury of anger and decided to have revenge and war against the Troy. When Menelaus was very angry, he appealed to his brother Agamemnon, who was a overlord of the Sparta during that time. At first, Agamemnon refuses to have war with the Troy because he believed that Troy is strong and they can easily be fall down. So he only says that forget that woman. You can have every woman in this world. But still, Menelaus forces his brother and says that he wants to have revenge with the Troys because he feel humiliated and he want to do to right the wrong thing that happened. So after that, Menelaus persuaded his brother Agamemnon rushed to assemble all the 1,000 ships they have to attack the city of Troy.
The Trojan and Greek armies meet outside the walls of Troy. During a parley, Paris offers to duel Menelaus personally for Helen's hand in exchange for the city being spared. Agamemnon, intending to take the city regardless of the outcome, accepts. Menelaus wounds Paris, causing him to cower at the foot of Hector. When Menelaus attempts to kill Paris despite his victory, he himself is killed by Hector. In the ensuing battle, Hector kills Ajax after a brief duel and many Greek soldiers fall to the Trojan defenses, with Achilles and Myrmidons watch from a distance during the battle. On Odysseus' insistence, Agamemnon and Odysseus argue about what they lost the battle. Agamemnon gives the breezes to the Greek soldiers for their amusement, but Achilles saves her from them. Later that night, Breezes sneaks into Achilles' quarters to kill him. Instead, she falls for him and they become lovers. Achilles then resolves to leave Troy, much to the dismay of the Patroclus, his cousin and protege. Despite Hector's objections, Priam orders him to retake the Trojan beach by daybreak and force the Greeks' homes. The attack unifies the Greeks and the Myrmidons enter the battle. Hector duels a man that he believes to be Achilles and kills him, only to discover that it was actually his cousin Patroclus. Distraught, both armies agreed to stop fighting for the day. Achilles is informed of his cousin's death by Eudorus and vows revenge after striking him. Worried that Achilles will surely seek vengeance, Hector shows his wife Andromache in secret tunnel beneath Troy. Should he die and the city fall, he instructs her to take their child and any survivors out of the city to Mount Ida. The next day, Achilles arrives outside Troy and challenges Hector. Knowing death would await him, Hector says his goodbyes to his wife, sons. The two duel outside the gates and initially appear evenly matched, but Hector is slowly worn down until Achilles lands killing blow. Achilles then dragged his corpse back to the Trojan beach. Priam in disguise sneaks into the camp and implores Achilles to return Hector's body for a proper funeral. Ashamed of his actions, Achilles agrees and also states that Hector was the best that he had ever fought. He allows Breezes to return to Troy with Priam, promising a 12-day truce so that Hector's funeral rites may be held in peace. He also orders his men to return home without him after apologizing to Eudorus striking him. Agamemnon declares that he will take Troy regardless of the cost concerned. Odysseus concocts a plan to infiltrate the city. After seeing a carving of a horse by Greek soldier, he has the Greeks build a gigantic wooden horse as a peace offering and abandon the Trojan beach, hiding their ships in nearby cove. Despite objection from Paris, who requests for it to be borne down, Priam orders the horse to be brought into the city after Archiptolemus views it as a gift intended for calming gods. A Trojan scout later finds out the Greek ships hiding in the cove, but he is quickly shot as he about to alert the city. That night, Greeks hiding inside the horse emerge, attacking the sleeping Trojans and open the city gates for the Greek army, commencing the sack of Troy. While Andromache and Helen guide the Trojans to safety through the tunnel, Paris gives the sword.
So now, we will compare what is the difference between the film of Troy and the written history of Iliad. In Iliad, war took 10 years, while in the film of Troy, it only took 17 days. In Iliad, Paris is killed, Hector's baby is killed, and Hector's wife is enslaved, while in the film, they escape. And in Iliad, Hector was too scared of Achilles to fight him, and so he ran away and ran around the walls of Troy several times. In film of Troy, Hector's fight one-on-one to Achilles. So these three is a major differences between the Iliad and the film Troy. The Troy film, directed by Wolfgang Petersen and written by David Benioff. So, what is the reason why the film and the history or the Iliad are very different to each other? So, for the differences in the film Troy from the Iliad are mostly for the sake of the director and for entertainment only. Also, to increase the size of the audience and therefore earn more revenue from the film. So, the reason why the film Troy and the Iliad are very different because the director and the film itself are need to increase the audience attention so that many people can watch it.
So let us move on about unfair treatment to women. So in Iliad's story, woman is considered one of the causes why Trojan War happened, and also the cause of disagreement of Agamemnon and Achilles. But when we're talking about unfair treatment to women, we cannot say that it actually applied. So based on the summary of Homer's Iliad, 9 years after the start of the Trojan War, the Greek army Achaeans sacked Chryse, a town allied with Troy. They captured a pair of beautiful maidens, Chryseis and Briseis. Agamemnon, the leader, takes Chryseis as his prize, and Achilles, the greatest warrior, claims Briseis. So women back then are reserved as a reward after they win the war. They serve as a win prize concubine. So what's the meaning of concubine? Concubine means the unmarried woman who had sex with a man and lives also with the man and his wife or wives. So we can say that women are just only entertainment for them. Their way to satisfy themselves, their physical pleasures. So next, Chryseis' father, Chryses, who serves as a priest to god Apollo, offers an enormous ransom in return for his daughter. So Chryses tried to offer Agamemnon a big ransom to get his daughter back, but Agamemnon refused, not because he loved Chryseis, but because he doesn't want to lose his possessions and, of course, his reputation as a king. And then, because of that, Chryses prayed to god Apollo, and god Apollo sent a plague to the Achaean camp. So many Achaeans died. Because of that, Agamemnon was forced to get Chryseis back to her father. And next, Agamemnon demands Briseis from Achilles as compensation. So, because of the greed of Agamemnon, he didn't allow himself to get lost. He became interested in Briseis. He got Briseis from Achilles, which angered Achilles, so that from that time he didn't get involved himself in war, except for Trojan War, because Odysseus pursued him. And one of the reasons is that Patroclus, his cousin or closest friend, killed by Trojans, so he get his revenge. But in Briseis' case, we can say that woman is like only an object that which can use, lend, or give. So maybe the treatment to women back then depends on what value they have. If they are in the royal family, if they are queens or princesses, people will respect them because they got the higher position in society. But still, we can say that even with that position, they didn't treated fair. They still didn't treated fair. So let us example the Queen Helen. She's the queen of Sparta. People praise her, give respect to her because she's the queen. But is she happy? No, because she's still not treated fair. Because first, she doesn't have freedom. Her father only sent her to Sparta to marry King Menelaus. And second, her husband, King Menelaus, get many wives. And basically, her being a wife doesn't have significance. And she has no right to rant about that. So, she's there in a presence of a queen, but in reality, she's still a slave. And then she met Prince Paris and found love and treated fair. So, still, women back then, we can say that they are treated fair only if men have serious feelings for them. For example, as I mentioned earlier, Prince Paris to Queen Helen, and second, his brother, Prince Hector, to his wife, Andromache. So, only fair treatment to women is only happening. We can say that it is only happening if they have a serious relationship with men. But in general, women back then is considered an object, a thing that is so powerless.
So now, let us base on the video on how they treated women that time. So in the clip, we can see how men being cruel to women. We also witness the cheapest value of women and place prostitute to entertain them, and let the men do whatever they want to do to them. They also give anything that the man wants. Now on the second clip, we can see that women are harshly being played by men. They look over women as a prize, as a reward in terms of winning the war. That time, there are no rules, even laws to follow. They are not scared of consequences that they can be possibly to suffer. But now, we can see how women being protected by laws which called women rights. Hence, maybe sometimes we can witness the unended unfair treatment. Treatments in the women. Now, it's such an honor to give my own opinion as a woman, to represent them. I'm so glad to see how women being powerful even now. They can now see their worth, the value, and being reminded that they are worth it. Women today are not playing puppets just to satisfy the man's needs. Women deserve to be loved, to be respected by men. That's all. Thank you.